Thank you for staying around. We will reconvene the December 16th, 2024 Anderson Township Zoning Commission meeting. Mr. Drury, could you please present case 2-2021 PUD for the major adjustment?
Yes. The applicant is Ryan Rosen from Woolpert on behalf of Motley 7 Brew LLC, on behalf of Beachmont and Asbury LLC property owner. And just for clarification for one of our commissioners, just want to make sure, the property has transferred or it has not transferred.
This is a lease.
It's a lease, so the current owner is still Brandy.
That's correct.
Okay. Before we go any further, what do you think? It's a lease, so.
I'll let you guys decide. I mean, I think I
Impartial.
do have comments and stuff.
Yeah.
I do need to disclose that my opinion is comments.
I do think you can be unbiased. You know,
Me
and
too.
With it being a lease, that also, I think,
Mitigates.
reassures me a little bit,
Yeah.
maybe, so, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So the location is at 7753 Beachmont Avenue, and the request is to approve a major adjustment to PUD. This was from case 2011. The request is to demolish an existing retail building and construct a 510 square foot coffee shop with 2 drive-through lanes, pedestrian access, and landscaping. So we'll come back to the proposal, but it is to create a larger parcel that has been created, I believe. That's why there was some confusion. So the parcel has been created, still under the same owner, but under a lease. The applicant is also proposing to construct a separate cooler building, modify existing parking area, and add additional landscaping and lighting. So the history on the site: in September of 2011, the Zoning Commission approved the original PUD. This was for 5.2 acres for new mixed-use development. At that time, there was a bank that was proposed, medical office, a multi-tenant restaurant building, which is the one we're talking about now, and then a standalone restaurant, which is the Buffalo Wild Wings, with parking, landscaping, lighting, etc. So this is the site in question. This was originally approved as a 2-tenant space building. This is the bank and Buffalo Wild Wings. This is Beachmont Avenue to the north, Asbury Road, and then the medical office is just off of the slide here to the south. All of this was approved as one PUD. This is a closer aerial shot of the site. Again, the parcel has been created for this specific use. The topography, it does slope from Beachmont to the south. Again, the zoning is EPUD. These are the site photos that we took along Beachmont Avenue. This is part of our downtown Anderson area where the township installed sidewalks, streetscaping. The original PUD, the intention was to move the buildings closer to the road, to Beachmont Avenue, to encourage that downtown Anderson neighborhood. This is one of our original PUDs in the township, so you may remember that. It was a little bit unique as well because the buildings somewhat had 2 fronts. They were meant to have a front facing on Beachmont to encourage the pedestrian environment, and then the parking was in the rear. So this is along the front. This is the parking lot side of the building. Currently, it has 1 tenant, which is Elements Massage, and then the other space is vacant. This is the drive-through from the bank. The drive-through lanes are in the back of the building. Again, just looking down, there is a right-in access only off of Beachmont Avenue, and then full access off of Asbury. The bottom picture here is the parking lot in the back. This is the picture of the medical office building that's also part of this PUD. So the site plan, sorry, that went too fast. So the site plan that was submitted, the right-in entrance off of Beachmont Avenue would remain. Full access off of Asbury remains unchanged. The 7 Brew is primarily a drive-through coffee shop. There are 2 lanes, dual drive-through lanes proposed, canopies proposed on both sides. This does have a small area for outdoor seating, for a walk-up window. There is limited parking for the Motley Brew itself, but all of the parking is shared in the PUD. There's pedestrian access coming in off of Beachmont Avenue to the front of the building. There's an existing sidewalk that comes along the Buffalo Wild Wings site that goes along to their front door. And this proposal does have pedestrian connection to the Buffalo Wild Wings site. This is your handicap accessibility or handicap accessible sidewalk. And then their sidewalk is proposed along the center of the parking lot. The landscape plan, the landscaping that was installed as part of the downtown improvement project is proposed to remain, as well as some additional trees and landscaping by the applicant. There are existing trees in this particular area of the parking lot which are proposed to be replaced, I believe. This is the lighting plan, which I know you can't read on the screen, but it is. We have a condition recommended in the staff report because our photometrics are from the property lines and the perimeter property lines are not identified. So we did provide the approved lighting plan for the site, and we believe that will remain unchanged. But we'll request the applicant to clarify that. So these are the elevation drawings. It does have somewhat higher facades, about 1.5 story facade. So there is a little bit of a height that was a concern from the original PUD. We wanted extra height on the buildings on Beachmont Avenue. So it's about a 1.5 story height. You can see the canopies. This would be facing Beachmont Avenue, and this would be the rear facing the parking lot. Both the east and the west elevations. And then the separate building, the cooler, that's a separate accessory structure. So again, with the PUD, as we stated earlier, this is a modification because we're removing the structure and adding a new structure. Looking at zoning resolution compliance, these are items that we feel are most likely compliant. They just need to be demonstrated on the site plan. So vehicle stacking spaces, off-street loading requirements, lighting, those are areas we feel that should be in compliance or may be in compliance. We just need those shown on a site plan to confirm. Additional plan comments, the site plan needs to show the new property lines as well as the setbacks from the building and canopies to the new property line. The landscaping plan is in compliance, but it does identify an ash tree, so we recommend that those be substituted for something other than ash. The applicant's also proposing 26 parking spaces where 14 are required. And again, the overall parking count for the PUD was compliant when the PUD was approved. So with the Anderson plan, we feel that it is consistent with the following goals: economic vitality and land use and development. Again, as stated before, the PUD, the intent was in the downtown area. So while this is primarily a drive-through use, we do encourage and feel it is important to accommodate pedestrians, especially that close to the Anderson High School, as well as within the downtown area, and also close to a senior living facility. So the whole area needs to be pedestrian accessible. Findings from the Beachmont plan, we talked about, it's in neighborhood 3 of the Beachmont plan, encourage a mixed use area. Anderson Trails plan, again, pedestrian connectivity. So staff's recommendation was approval based on the following, which we identify whether the sections are compliant or not compliant. As you can see, everything was compliant. So if approved, staff recommends these following conditions: a lighting plan showing compliance with the new property line and the perimeter property line. A surveyor stamped drawing would be required for the issuance of a zoning certificate for a new structure with the new property lines identified. A landscaping plan with a substitution for the ash tree, and then all the conditions from the previous PUD remain in place. Be happy to answer any questions.
Mr. Drury, Elizabeth Bright, any questions of staff?
Yeah, well, how many, do we make folks park their outdoor dining area?
Yes, but with this in particular, they're replacing a 2-tenant building
Mhm.
with, so they're actually, the need for parking is less than what's already
And it's,
there.
and it's cross-parked anyway.
Yes,
so,
it's cross-park.
Okay, and then,
But yes, Buffalo Wild Wings does have an outside seating area, and that was calculated as well.
yeah, I just
Overall
wanted to
parking
make sure
area.
it was. And I
Mhm.
guess my other questions were, well, I guess I'll ask you this. I guess my biggest concern with this is you've got that drive-through, and I'm not sure if that's a bypass lane or two drive-through lanes, but anyway, coming out right into that right turn in only. And I can see folks coming in and they're trying to put their coffee in their drink cup holders, whatever, and they're not, and then the guys coming in, making the right in. I'm really concerned about that, the proximity of the access from the drive-through. It's, what, I don't know, 20 feet maybe off of Beachmont, but it is right there on that right turn in, and I'm very concerned about that. Did you guys look at that, or just?
We did not do a site, a site distance study or anything of particularly, and you're referring to this area right
Yeah.
here?
Yeah,
So
and
the
I'm
right
just
in
real-
off
'cause
of
you're-
Beachmont,
that's a
and then
really
those
tight-
exiting
it's a
the
really
drive-through.
tight corner to make that right turn in without hitting the curb, so you're really kind of focused on that, and then you got the guys with the coffee coming out, who are also focused, and I think
So
that's a
it'd be a
real
good question
conflict
for the
point.
engineer.
Yeah, I will. That's all I have.
Thank you. Dr. Baker?
No.
No questions of staff at this time. So if the applicant would like to come forward through all the crowd, please state your name and address and affiliation to the case.
Well, good evening. My name is Ryan Rosen. I am with Wolpert. Our address is 1208 Walnut Street in Cincinnati. I am the engineer for the project. You took most of my points away I want to talk about, so sorry, Paul. We are going to be removing the existing building and adding it with replacing with a 510 square foot building and the cooler. The drives are a double drive-through, is what you're seeing here. It'd be similar to a Chick-fil-A style, where you're taking your order out in the drive-through area. We will provide a separate drawing that does show the cars coming in or the stacked cars in that driveway. We have a sample of that from the concept that just didn't get carried through to these plans. There will be about 20-ish parking stalls, not parking stalls, I'm sorry, but waiting spaces within the drive-through area. We do have, Seven Brew does have multiple locations, about 300 locations across the country, including 65 in Ohio and about 2 in Cincinnati just recently, one in Fields Erdel and one in Springboro, just a little bit farther north. Walkability was something that we listened to when we had our initial conversations with Paul and Sarah. From the south, we do have the sidewalk there. That does include some stairs along the south side, so we did include an ADA access coming over from the BW3 lot. We will have to make a couple minor modifications there, but in general, I have no concerns that we'll be able to make an ADA access from there. The walkway from Beachmont Avenue does have stairs on it, and that is a grading concern there, so we didn't have to put a long ramp in, but that does still give you accessibility for the majority of the customers, and there is seating on the outside of the building on the west side of that building. On the south end where the parking is, we are going to try and maintain that elevation as best as we can. There is a regional detention basin directly under there that we do not intend to touch. As you mentioned, we are less impervious than we were before, so we don't have any plans of making an additional detention because of that. We are going to reuse the existing dumpster that you see on the south side of the property just across that drive. As far as the lighting goes, there are 2 light poles between the bank and this property that shed light in both directions, so we are going to maintain those. That is across property lines. We do understand that, but as an existing condition, I hope we can get approval through that. We are going to add another light pole on the north side, just to the east of that sidewalk. We have a plan to add another light pole in that area, and that'll be shown on a revised lighting plan. As far as the entrance coming in or from Beachmont, there's it is a lower speed limit in that area, so we don't have as many concerns there because it is a lower speed limit coming in. We have added stop signs and stop bars as you exit the property at that location to help maintain traffic and as well as one-way signs to make sure everybody heads south on that driveway from Beachmont. And are there any other questions?
Ms. Bates or Dr. Baker, we can start with you, please.
No, I think I'm pretty clear.
Ms. McBride?
So, where's the order point?
The order point is just south of, it's along where the dark gray area is there on the east side of the building. It's not a point of sale. It is, they take orders from the, similar to a Chick-fil-A. I don't know if you want to talk to that a little bit better.
Is there like a booth? I mean,
Like a kiosk
yeah,
kind of
walk
a
me
deal?
through how your dumpster, I know
ahead.
Chick-fil-A,
You
I
can
know.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, lots of
State your
stuff.
name and address.
You got Matthew Weymouth, 5831 Stewart Road, Galena, Ohio. So Seven Brew, it's a new wave of, call it experiential retail. Our order point is similar to a Chick-fil-A. If you've ever been to a Chick-fil-A, we'll have employees in the drive aisles with tablets taking orders. And then the canopy area that you see, which may be your prototypical order point or food delivery, is the point where the cars will pull up, and then we'll have runners inside bring the coffee to the cars. The whole point of this is take Chick-fil-A and Starbucks had a baby and call it Seven Brew. It's high quality coffee, but in a quick fashion. There's no food here as well. It is just coffee and beverages only.
So just to be clear, so.
Yes, ma'am.
The order point then is it south of this dark gray area?
It would probably be all in that dark gray area. It just depends on how many people are stacked. So we try to take order points from pretty much that whole area to keep the flow moving. If there's no one there and you just pull up, you're the first one, then it would be underneath the canopy. But as cars start to stack in, they will move back in line and take orders.
Yeah, because if they were taking orders at the edge of that dark gray area, you don't have 5 stacks, maybe 6. And you're gonna stack onto, private property, so, I guess that's not as much of a concern for me. And the dumpster, the existing dumpster, is that,
It's shared
yeah, it's shared with the bank?
with Buffalo Wild Wings.
Okay, that's why.
I'm not sure if the bank uses it. I'm not 100% sure, but I know it's just shared.
So, I guess, would you be, agreeable, you've got kind of this big lawn area, I think it would be nice to put some trees in there. Then the finish on the cooler, is partially brick, and then is it hardy, what's the siding material that's on it?
I'd have to get into
It
the
says
drawings to know the
HM3 or
materials.
something.
It's
Yeah, we have a material board that we can bring in and show. I would say aesthetically, like a hardy plank is the best thing I could say it somewhat looks like from.
Yeah, I'd like to probably see some
Sure.
landscape material to break that up. I don't think-
Absolutely.
And do you screen all your rooftop mounted equipment?
We do at times. I believe we're screening this, correct?
I mean,
Oh,
if we're not, we certainly can.
Yeah.
We'll meet whatever codes are required.
Paul,
and
I
we're
think
not
we
looking at
discussed that.
signage now,
Sorry.
right? Oh, that's gotta be per code anyway, so we're not, because we don't have any sign details.
Correct.
So,
Mm-hmm.
I guess, guys, my biggest concern is that access from, because you're going from the 2 to the 1, right? So we're gonna shuffle like we do at McDonald's and so forth. And you're gonna come around that corner and come out, and I think that's, I think it's a good use of the property and so forth, but I am really, really concerned about people coming right in off of Beachmont. Again, that is, I'm sure you've done it, it's a
Yes,
tight-
ma'am.
It's a tight
It is
right,
tight.
right? And, you've obviously got to slow to make that tight right, but now you've got folks coming out of your place, and, you say you're predominantly, drive-through, and I'm really concerned about that. So I don't know if you've got some other thoughts about how to, make that a safety, on stop sign, yeah, like,
I think it's a right in, right out. So if you're coming east onto Beachmont, Ryan stated it is a lower speed limit, and the line of sight and visibility, you will be able to see as you're coming in or exiting the drive-through, another car coming. We with the employees, and I guess is what we try to do at all of our locations. If there is something unique or specific, we engage with our customers very much. So we will, talk to them and say, we prefer you to exit left here or right here. This way, there's only one way. But it is something that we can address. We put a stop bar there. We have other locations that are similar. I do understand the concern. It is something that we discussed. We are not in the business of building stores if we anticipate a major issue, whether it's for our customers or our employees. We understand the comment. I don't think that it's an issue, but I'm happy to explore that further with you, or do what we need to do to help explore that question.
Well, I don't know exactly how to, I mean, like you could put a condition on there that says you're gonna have a flashing stop sign, left turn only.
Sure.
That kind of thing.
Yep.
I am very, I don't care, but, and it's also interesting that you're not on the inbound, you're on the homebound side, which is interesting kind of for a coffee guy. But, anyway, those
Sure.
are my comments.
Dr. Baker.
No, I'm good.
I share some of the concerns that Ms. McBride does about that exit. Looking at the plan, there's no pavement marking saying it's only a left turn. There's only one indication of a stop sign, number keynote 10, no indication of right turn only. So, I guess the human nature of the simplest way out, trying to make sure people don't say, well, there's a drive, I can turn right and get to Beachmont a lot quicker than going around the building. So, that's traffic flow issue.
You're saying taking a right on the right in only section?
Yes. I've seen people go the wrong way on a roundabout.
Oh, for
My God.
for sure. That's when they're leaving the pub, not the Seven Brew.
Thought about it a few times,
Oh.
but I haven't never done it.
Understood.
So, that's a concern. I guess I have a question concerning the site plan. To the west of the building and the cooler, there's sort of an indent of pavement to the sidewalk. What is that intended to be?
That's the walkability, the walkway, so you can go from Beachmont to underneath the canopy, where we'll have an outside table for somebody to sit if they would like to, and then walk back to towards the medical facility. So we have another site in Middleburg Heights with a medical facility similar to this behind us, and a lot of them will walk up to the building. So in speaking with staff, the walkability we knew was a big function of that, and then added with the hospital, we totally agreed.
I understand the outdoor seating under the canopy, which is on the north side of the building.
Yes, sir.
I'm talking this south of the canopy on that side, where it looks like the pavement indents, and then you have the 6-foot sidewalk, and it's got 35-foot building setback in the paved area. Here, I'll stand up. Where Paul's cursor was. Yeah, that area. It's almost like looks like a pull-off, quite frankly. Is that what that's intended to be?
No, sir.
On the landscape
on the
plan, it
south
has-
side of the cooler?
No.
On the
South
landscape
side.
plan, it just has it as
That right there.
as ground
South side,
cover.
west side.
No,
The west side.
Yeah.
West side of the cooler in the building,
Mhm.
south of the canopy that would have the dining underneath or drinking.
Yeah, that's, that is a grass area is intended to be there.
Okay,
So what we did, we took I believe that's
so
a
the dash
6-foot
line is
sidewalk.
the curb line that would remain.
I'm sorry, sir.
There's like a double dash line that looks like a curb.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Curb line, that's not a demo curb, it's.
No, that's to remain, yep.
Thank you.
Sorry.
I was
No.
Sorry.
very confused. So, I guess, yes, landscaping, next to the cooler building would be, beneficial, I think, to break up that elevation.
Sure.
On the other side, you just have sidewalk, but, you know, now that we do have green space there, that may be an avenue to, you know, enhance that elevation also.
Sure.
Again, how you exit into that right-hand drive and how that's signed and monitored, you know, just a stop sign, unfortunately, I don't believe is the only answer.
Sure.
So with that, I believe Ms. McBride had some additional questions or comments.
I did. Talk to me about the neon guys.
It's one of our staples of our business. If you go to any of our other locations, especially, you know, first thing in the morning or at night, it is one of the things that helps drive our business. It's not a bright glowing light, but you can see it. It's part of kind of our signage and our curb appeal.
Oh, do we count that as signage as other communities do? He loves it when I have that.
While he's looking at, I've got a couple questions.
Sure.
I was near your Fields Order Road exit or location on Sunday about like 2 o'clock.
Yes, sir.
You guys were lined around the building.
Yes, sir.
In
That
this
was a-
case, if you're lined around the building, you're gonna be in the exit, you know, the ingress, right in, right out, but you're also gonna be in the exit that goes towards, I just drew a blank.
Asbury.
Asbury, thank you. You know, how can you guys mitigate that
Sure.
if you're gonna be that busy?
So, unfortunately, we're not that busy every day. That is a special day. It's called Swag Day, and we do it once in a blue moon where you get a large coffee and you get a free drink. So those days we have extra staff. Sometimes we'll hire details if we need to. We'll do what we need to do to help orchestrate. We'll work with the property owner ahead of time to help mitigate that. It's something that we do at all of our locations. Swag Day is a big day for Seven Brew, but that is not the norm. That is, you'll see that a couple of times a year.
I was thinking there's people, I gotta get out of here, because you guys are really busy.
Yes, and Sunday at Fields Erdel was one of the better days that we've had as a company so far.
I hope
That's a pretty quick question and a pretty quick answer.
I can draw it out.
So what I've been able to find is no, that the neon is not prohibited. It's the flashing and the scrolling and the dancing,
right.
and that is what would be
Right.
prohibited.
I mean, I know like
But
Boone
just
County regulates it, and they,
No,
when you
you're right.
go to Boone County, they will count that as signage.
but
Thank you.
yeah, the lighting itself is not. It's just when it starts to be flashing and scrolling, and that would be prohibited.
It's very noticeable during the daytime, just so you know. With neon. That's how I picked you guys up. I'm like, oh, wait, I'm gonna see them on Monday. Okay, any other discussions among commission?
Yeah, just for a discussion on the commission, I mean, I
I
think
can
that,
close the
yeah,
public
close the public.
Sure.
Close the public hearing, so thank you.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.
I still have this concern about this right-in, and it is only a right-in, and then these guys are coming out, so they're gonna make the left. So I guess, I mean, if that's the only way to make the site work, but I would, make part of any recommend approval on this, that it would be a flashing stop sign and with a left turn only on that same sign, and then to put in a speed hump there.
Yeah,
And
I-
Paul, I was gonna say, I mean, that was part of the motion for Chick-fil-A, and they have never installed it, so if you could, and I saw that over the weekend, so if you could make a note of that.
They haven't done their project yet. Chick-fil-A still hasn't done their project yet.
But their
Well,
parking,
Yeah.
they need to do that, 'cause, sorry.
Chick-fil-A is an instructive example because it's one of the worst parking lots in the township. I also have a buddy who lives on the street by Dunkin' Donuts, so I'm very mindful of, things backing up on Beachmont where people are trying to turn in.
Oh, that, I couldn't call on that.
So I think your point is well taken.
So, I mean, I we can only do, I understand the issue with the size of the lot and the need to move people through and so forth. I just am also concerned about safety in that particular area, so that would be part of any motion that I might make, if it's agreeable with my fellow commissioners.
And I agree, like I said, the one stop sign, I didn't think of, no pavement markings indicating left only. And
Yeah.
you can't fix stupid, but you can do everything you can to help
Help fix
prevent it.
stupid.
Sorry about that, that's one of my favorite quotes. And I have seen in Indianapolis, people going the wrong way on a roundabout. And Indianapolis has them all.
When I was there?
Oh, white Armada, wasn't it?
But yeah, good try, good try. Okay.
With that, any other discussion amongst the commission?
No, I mean, I think it'll be a nice addition if it's not another Chick-fil-A parking lot.
With that, anyone like to make a motion?
I would make a motion that we approve case 2-2011 PUD nature adjustment for 7 Brew to be located at 7753 Beachmont Avenue, based on consistency with township plans, with staff recommendation, and with compliance with the zoning code. In addition, with the following conditions, that all mechanical equipment on site and on the roof be screened, that a stop sign / left turn only sign be located at the access point coming out of the drive-through, and that sign be flashing, that there, in addition to that, be a speed hump there and striped, to give fair warning that folks do need to stop and pay attention to that. That additional landscaping in a non-deciduous form be added in the area to the west and south of the proposed cooler. And if there's space, I can't tell, on the east side as well. And some additional landscaping be added in the area that's proposed to the west of the sidewalk and south of the cooler and sidewalk, in that area as well. And I think that's everything. Yeah. I'm sorry. West of the sidewalk and south of the cooler area, in that area that they're just showing us, drought tolerant turf, I think.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Dr. Baker. Ms. Donovan, if you could please call roll.
Dr. Baker?
Yes.
Ms. McBride?
Yes.
Mr. Gottlieb?
Yes. That, thank you very much. Any additional business? Great.
Anything for next month? And by the way, $50 did you cover? I'm just gonna send you an invoice if that's okay.
There are still a couple of things pending, so we very well have a case in January. And then we'll be back to our regular fourth Monday.
Okay, yeah, I may or may not, I'm having some surgery, so I may or may not be available for that, so
Okay.
just play that one by ear.
Anyone opposed of adjourning? Hearing no response, we'll adjourn the meeting. Thank you very much.